Welcome to the Intuitive Therapist Podcast with Janis R. Cohen, therapist, clairvoyant, empath, and medium. Listen in as she takes a no-nonsense deep dive into real human struggles and how to resolve them. Janis will share channeled information from her spirit guide team, as well as the angels and archangels, to help you master your emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual destiny. And now, Janis R. Cohen.
Hey y'all, this is Janis Cohen, the Intuitive Therapist here on the Intuitive Therapist Podcast. In the first chapter of my new book, which I will have finished by early next year and published, called Your Personal Revolution, I share the stories of two of my teachers who truly showed me how loved and supported I was. Now, at the time, I had no idea that the impact of those teachers would follow me 50 years later, but they have. You see, they believed in me. They had my back and had patience with me. They took the time to get to know me and how I operated, and most importantly, they celebrated me. They helped me realize that I could win at life, or at least the kind of things that a kindergartner and first grader could win at. I don't recall any other teachers in my life except for a few professors in graduate school that truly had my back and wanted me to win, as much as these two ladies did when I was a little girl. And I look back now and I think about how powerful their vision of me was in my own success. And I realized one thing, that having someone believe in you is incredibly influential in how you show up for yourself. We all learn as we grow up that we have to be our own champions first, right? That we must learn to believe in ourselves and who we are, in our inherent goodness and our inherent capabilities in order to have a successful life. And if you look back on your life, you'll see when those beliefs were in action and when they weren't. When you believed not such nice things about yourself and the consequences of that. I was inspired to share those thoughts with you as I heard someone speak about the Pygmalion effect, also known as the Rosenthal effect. And I'm not sure if you've heard of this. I want to share a bit about it with you because it was fascinating to me and it made so much sense. The Pygmalion effect is quite simple. It's a psychological phenomenon in which high expectations lead to improved performance in a given area, and low expectations lead to worse. The effect is named, interestingly enough, for the Greek. It's a Greek myth of Pygmalion, the sculptor who fell so in love with the perfectly beautiful statue he created that the statue came to life. According to the Pygmalion effect, the targets of the X in the opposite direction in the case of low expectations. So, when I was thinking about the message for this week, it's this. You never know the influence you have on someone's level of success when you remind them of what they're capable of achieving. And I remember when I worked for a company in early 2000s, I had a tough day. Actually, it was a tough year. And my boss was a real shit. She was she was a principal of the school I worked at, and she was just a bitch to me, and she was out to get me. And I'd seen her do this with so many other people, but I had been out of her wake of harm until this point in this particular year. I'd worked there about 9 years, and it was in the 9th year that she made my life hell. And something happened on this particular day, and I had gotten really pissed. So I went to visit a colleague of mine who I trusted, and I sat down in her office and I just vomited up all of my frustration all over her desk, and her room. And she was sitting on one side of the desk. I was sitting on the other. And I'll never forget this as long as I live. After I was done bitching and moaning about how my boss constantly undermined me, she would insult me, she would be dismissive, she'd set me up for failure. All the things that a lovely supporting boss would do. She looked straight at me, this woman, this colleague of mine who I valued. And she leaned forward on the desk. She crossed her arms. She said, Janis, I have faith in you. I believe in you. And these words changed my life. This was the first time since I was a little girl in kindergarten and then first grade where someone outwardly acknowledged my worth and value and qualifications to be a positively contributing force in the world. I have faith in you. I believe in you. I'll never forget that colleague and will never forget those words. With those two sentences, I was able to recalibrate myself and my focus on what I knew was right. Her words, rather her positive expectations of me, created a vortex where I could do nothing but overcome and succeed. You never know the impact you can have on somebody else's life by establishing a positive expectation for their success. Not pressure, just belief and support of them. Most times, that's all we humans need to stay the course and move forward. And if no one has ever uttered those words to you before like they were uttered to me, let me be the first to do that. I believe in you. I have faith in you. I truly do. So I ask that you take these words with you, keep them close to your heart, and pull them out when you need them. When times are tough, when you doubt your own capabilities, when you wonder if you're on the right path, when you're making hard decisions, remember these words that I've shared with you and offer them to others when they struggle. The impact is substantial and most likely one that you won't even realize exists, as oftentimes when someone impacts our life so deeply, we rarely get the chance to let them know their worth. Believe in others. Let them know that you do, just like I've let you know I believe in you today. And give a bunch of belief to yourself, too. There's enough of that to go around, I promise. I wish you a blessed day, a wonderful week, and as always, live intuitively.
Thanks for listening to The Intuitive Therapist. If you like what you heard, the best compliment you can give us is to share this podcast with a friend. And be sure to give us some stars and a favorable review at Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen in.